cars on Bring a Trailer, P-Car Market, Cars and Bids. We make predictions, and you just sit there out there in YouTube land thinking that you can do better than us? Well, let's see. Put your money where your mouth is. Get in here. Get in the chat. We're going to make predictions. Let's see if you're better at it than us. This is Bid Nerds. The bidding starts now. Bid Nerds is your YouTube car game show. That's right. It is a game show, and that's what we are doing tonight. My name is John Polnick, and this is Bid Nerds. I'll be your host for the next hour. I am coming to you live from the Container Park in downtown Las Vegas, as well as my partner over there on the other side of the screen. That's Michael Deeb. He is in San Francisco. It says so on his shirt, so it must be true. How's it going, Michael Deeb?
Amazing, JP. We shot a AMG GTR last night, and we shot that out at the Headlands on like just a beautiful, beautiful evening. I'm gonna text you something after the show, a little tear sheet of photographs that we grabbed. But that car just looks so sinister, John, and I got to drive it over there. I haven't driven I think I drove Rami's turbo cab, which was fun, but this AMG with the V8 and that like burbly hissing exhaust makes you want to make a lot of money and be able to buy like fast cars, because it was so cool. It didn't even have a stick, and it was cool. It was like unbelievable. What a sinister car. It was we had a lot of fun. So that's a little sneak peek about the next car we've got coming to auction, so that'll be fun. Maybe we'll cover that one on Bid Nerds as well. It'll be kind of fun. Cool car, nice. Great evening, and John, your ears must have been burning because I'm standing there with a photographer for 3 hours while he does his stuff, and I'm just talking about stories about you because I've done, I've held your bags for a couple of years. I've had the privilege of being behind the scenes with you, so all of my experience has been with you, so it was just kind of fun. I was thinking about you and missing you all day yesterday, so it was kind of fun. Sometimes like we're too far away. Yeah, we're too far away. Man,
you just got to move to Vegas. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out and checking out Bid Nerds. Look, a lot of times people are new to the channel. They're like, what the heck is this thing? What we do is we find the most interesting cars from all the automotive enthusiast auction channels. Mostly Bring a Trailer, let's be honest here. Sometimes we'll do Cars and Bids. Sometimes we'll do P-Car Market. Dr. Daka is making fun of us going, look, seriously, I think Bid Nerds is secretly sponsored by P-Car. This is the only place I ever see or hear a mention of P-Car Market. And, you were probably doing them a huge favor by mentioning them all the time, but we don't often say anything nice because they keep screwing up. And look, what we always do on this show is we make predictions, what we think will happen at the hammer of the listings that we analyze, and we always start off every episode by going back and looking at our predictions from the last episode. So let's see. We'll give you guys a chance to see if you can do this better than us. What was the first car on the list? Speaking of that trashy car market, what do we got?
Yeah. All right, JP. So let's put this car to bed finally. What we're talking about, what we're going to circle back to is the 2024 Porsche 992 Turbo S Coupe that happens to be one of the 000 Turbo S commissions. This is a signature car that is endorsed and blazoned with 000 and Pikes Peak logos, which is really cool. You can see the 000 on the radiator. There's some stuff embossed on the leather. Very cool car. A couple weeks ago, JP, we had Sarah Lassick on the show from 000 Magazine, and she was talking about the sweepstakes because 000 is actually giving away one of these cars. So she was on the show a couple weeks ago. This listing comes live. I grabbed it. I thought we will cover this car when it comes up, when the time comes up, we'll cover it. And Sarah reaches out to us and wants to get in touch with P-Car Market because they had claimed initially that this used car on the screen with 67,000 miles out of Manhattan, Illinois, was in fact the sweepstakes car, which it's not. The sweepstakes car is still on offer. That they're still taking, they're still gathering tickets for that as we speak. That contest ends at the end of the month. And by the way, that white Grand Prix white prize car is under lock and key at Club Wheelhouse here in Marin County. But this car, although falsely represented by P-Car Market, is available for purchase and was up for auction. So again, super low miles. It appears to have been a Canadian origin car that was then brought down to the United States and is showing now just 67 miles from new. So by all accounts, brand new condition. JP, all of the drama with the P car mishap aside, this is a very special car. We're talking about like a $300,000 car. And as a $300,000 car that's going up for auction nationally and in some cases internationally, this is, JP, let's just say it, this is a piss poor bucket of photos. They didn't detail the car. There's like dirt and dust and lint and stuff all over the carpets of the interior. These are like cell phone photos. This is not the caliber of representation you want for an asset of this value. And that's just a Turbo S. This is arguably the first 000 commission we've seen come to market since they started delivering these cars last year. So really poor. And then, of course, it was misrepresented from the get-go. And then we covered that because Sarah was calling us to put her in touch with 000. 000 did rectify the listing and stopped claiming that this was the prize car. JP, they did that on Saturday. They took it down and put a note in the listing. Sunday, we covered the car. Monday or Tuesday, the car closed. But on Monday, somebody reached out to Sarah, the owner or somebody, and finally responded to her email. And I'm not saying they apologized, but they said, yeah, we'll take that down. And of course, they had already done it. But very interesting and very late to respond. I mean, that's really weak, guys. Come on. Anyways, JP, enough about the drama. Let's get into the car. According to Classic.com, 2024 Turbo S's go for around $239,800. This car is a Turbo S with the very expensive lightweight package, and it's a 000 commission, which is an also added expense to get this unique livery. And then, of course, it's got a second set of wheels there as well. JP, I thought this car would hammer at around $228,000, where I figured it would fail to sell and wind up in the deal tank for over $300,000. You took the over on me by just a couple of thousand. Your number was $230,000. And again, I think you agreed with me that it wouldn't sell at that price. The car did a little better in the natural auction. The hammer price was $246,000, where it failed to sell on 25 bids. The car wound up in the deal tank for $295,000, and it has received since 2 more offers, the highest of which only went up to $250,000. So we're still $45,000 away from the asking price on this particular car right here. So JP, when we think about, Turbo S is going for $240,000, this car has got less than 100 miles. It's a lightweight and it's a 000 package car, and the highest bid was $250,000. They're asking $295,000, but at $250,000, do you think they should take the money, or do you think that there is enough special stuff on this car that they should hold out for that closer to 300 number they're looking for? Where are you at on what you think the value of the car on the pages is, not the drama with the listing and the head scratchers that the people that run P-car market?
Well, shout out to Randy in the Nerd Herd. He was the closest at $250,000, which happens to be where the current bid is at now.
Thank you, Randy.
I mean, we've talked about how much P-car market sucks. We do it all the time, and I'm kind of over it. I don't feel like doing it anymore. This car definitely would bring more money on a better platform like Bring a Trailer. The thing I want to bring up, Deeb, the thing that it just totally amazes me is how much 000 as a quarterly magazine has wedged their way into Porsche, into the Porsche world, into the Porsche lore, to get the factory to make a car that has their logo on it. That is amazing. 2. Yeah, I mean,
this is the second commission in like 3 years. It's amazing.
Why aren't they calling us going, okay, we need to do a factory edition Bid Nerds? Maybe the Speedster when it comes out in the 992. They'll do a Bid Nerd Speedster. That makes sense. I would approve of that.
Acid green. I think
that's right. I think it would have to be discounted though. No, I mean, I don't know. Shout out to 000. Great job, guys. Great. It's amazing that. And I'm always amazed that those guys are willing to come on our show. So, beautiful car, definitely worth more money. Put it on BAT or bring it to bring it to one of the live auctions this summer, and I think they'll get pretty close to, if not the money that they're asking for it. Do I think these cars are worth this much more money? No, but that's me. I think it's silly when Porsche puts a few logos on something and, you know, asks way more money for it. I think that stuff is silly, but whatever. PCA members are dumb that way. Who am I to talk, right? I put stickers all over my cars and expect more money for them
and get more money.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it works. All right, what do you guys think? And there it is. If you're watching the show right now, you saw how that works, right? Deep reminds us of the car. If you didn't watch the last episode, you get a chance to get in there on the chat right now. It's live. Get in on the chat and say how much you think the car would have brought if, before Deeb reveals what the number actually was. Are you better at this than you think you are? I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. A lot of people are like, you guys suck at this, but they don't come in and actually do it and challenge us. Prove that you're better at this than we are. What's the next car on the list, Michael Deeb? Here's your next shot, folks.
I'm supposed to be the automotive specialist, and JP, you cleaned house this week. So the next car was selected for us by Peter George of Las Vegas. Peter is an Italian who has had some really cool Italian cars, but he is a closeted fan of really cool British race cars. Take, for instance, JP, this Jaguar E-Type Lightweight Re-creation that was on Bring a Trailer this week. Our car was an alumni listing. The car was on Bring a Trailer and sold in April of 2024. Actually, the car was bid to $175,000 as an alumni listing, as a a premium listing, and that was out of St. Louis, Missouri, by the folks over at Heyman Limited. But the car came back to BAT with a new seller, this time out of North Salem, New York. The car is listed with 1,600 Veloci, who are veterans and, let's face it, some of the experts as far as listing cars on Bring a Trailer. And so anyways, they're taking a crack at what is essentially the same car. JP, this is an E-Type that was built to be one of the, just incredible unobtainium, the end-all be-all E-Type, which is the lightweight race cars. Lots of cars have been rebuilt to be evocative of those cars. This one looks like it's been faithfully done, right down to the fact that it comes with HTTP, the historic transport that is it's the paperwork for the FIA so that you could take this car vintage racing. So in other words, the recreation is so faithful, it meets all the criteria to basically race as one, which is pretty, it's like being recognized for something. So I don't want to get into any transgender jokes, but you see where I was going with that. Anyway, JP, the car ran a second time. When we talk about E-Type race cars, there is a class for those on classic.com, and to that end, classic.com tells us that these cars typically sell, the race cars, for $159,800. JP, I thought this car, which again failed to sell at $175 a year ago, I thought it would get up to just about $160. I did not think that even though 1,600 Veloci has a great reputation, that they would get more money than the last guys did. The economy is just not any better, right? JP, you came in significantly underneath me. Your bid was just $140,000, and you were closer than I was because our car hammered for $129,500, where it failed to sell on 31 bids. John, I don't even know where to recommend this guy goes to get the money they're looking for this car. Possibly you wait till August and you bring it to Monterey and you give it, I wouldn't even do it through like RM. I would go to like Goodings or Bonham or something and run it no reserve and rip the Band-Aid off, just start drinking early in the afternoon and pray that it's a good outcome. But like, I mean, what are you going to do? First of all, it's a beautiful car, but not taking the 175, it's like you became your own worst comparable sale for what you're looking for. And so, 1,600 Veloci did a great job with it. And yet they were, do the math for me, $45,000 shy of what the guys at Heyman did last year. I mean, unless the economy takes an upswing, I don't know how you expect to get more money next time around unless you're in a live auction, like an in-person auction. And I would think that your best chance is going to be Monterey in August. What do you think, John? You got a more creative idea on how to get this going?
I think that the only premium this car represents is its ability to race in historics. So do you wait till Monterey when everyone's racing in historics on this at the same during the same week? I feel like it's kind of too late, but this second running of the auction burned it. This car is brilliant. It's beautiful, but let's face it, this is a race car. And I know you can drive it on the street, but it's very difficult in America for Americans to drive on a right-hand drive car. And, you know, whenever you have those full race roll bars right by your head, I mean, anytime we see a true race car, or something that was built to be a race car, but then is also streetable, they just struggle. They just aren't doing well right now. If it were a true race car in the sense that it was an old race car that had won something or had been in some race for real, if it wasn't a replica, that would bring some kind of premium. But this is just a beautiful, faithful, but unfortunately replica car, and it's just going to be, it's tapped out in 2 swings at the bat. If it didn't bring $175 when people were buying anything, they had so much money that people were throwing money at everything that was cool, and this car only got to $175. I think the only way you get closer to $200,000 is ship it back to England and find some collector there that would want it, because that's the only place that's where this car belongs. You know, this thing should be going up Goodwood or something like that. So I don't know. I think the owners of this car are stuck with it, and they should just either enjoy it or, like you said, rip off the Band-Aid and just dump it. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. You got a better idea than we do for the poor seller who's stuck with this car? Let us know, because I'm sure that guy, the guy that owns this car, I'm sure is watching the show and would like to hear your advice.
Peter George should buy the car. Come on, Peter, let's go. You like black cars. This will look so nice next to his GT4. Come on.
How hard would it be to make it left-hand drive? That's what I want to know. Then we got something. All right, what are the cars we talked about on the last episode? What do we got? What's the next one?
All right, JP, our good buddy Chris Carbine was selling a car out of Carbine Motor Cars in New Orleans, Louisiana. Chris has a very great relationship with Cars and Bids. That's where he conducts, I think, the majority of his auction business. Obviously, he's got a great client base down there in the South, and oftentimes just places cars with clients. But he got a hold of this 2011 Porsche 911 Targa 4S. This is a 997.2 with just 43,000 original miles. JP, it's a 7-speed PDK, all-wheel drive, sport chrono package, 997.2. I mean, this is a really fun driving car. Grand Prix white, the big glass panoramic roof, all-wheel drive, and then the tan interior all over the top. Not my favorite interior, but that's okay. Again, you'd be forgiven for that because the car would be just so much fun to drive. Now, we certainly expect the manuals to bring a premium, but this car, let's face it, JP, they just didn't produce a lot of 997.2 911s. So to find an S anything and find one with low original mileage that's not modified or beat to snot is something of, it's a bit of a find. So Carbine knows what he's got. Don't come and lowball him. He brought it to P-Car Market and decided to let you fools fight over it. And we decided to cover it. So here it is, JP. According to Classic.com, the average selling price of a Targa 4S with a PDK is $63,600. I thought Carbine would do better than that. My number was closer to 70. I came in at $69,911. JP, you took the under by just about $1,000. $68,997 was your bid. And Chris Carbine did great. His car hammered for $65,005 where it sold on 19 bids. JP, I don't want to reveal anything, but you catch my drift when I tell you this car just made it over the reserve and sold. So everybody wins and everybody's happy, including Chris Carbine, which is really the only thing that matters. JP, we never keep score on this, but we should, because that means you won all 3 of the cars from the last show. I hate you and I don't want to do the show anymore. There you go. That's it. I said my piece. There you go. What do you want to talk about?
Well, pretty much, I mean, we host a show together, so why would we like each other? It's a better show if we disagree on things, right? And my being better than you definitely makes it better for me. So I'll take the win while I can get it. Look, Chris, love you, bro. You are our friend, our buddy, our compadre. We love hanging out with you. Chris comes out to our events all the time. He is one of the best Nerd Herd member. He is like an OG Nerd Herd member. Like he's dyed in the wool, right? My man, I told you, there's no picture of the hatch opened up. People don't understand that these Targas in the 996 and 997 variants aren't just big sunroofs. The thing that makes this car unique is the fact that, and you can't tell in any of these pictures, but the glass in the back opens up like a hatchback. That is really, really cool. And even Porsche nerds don't know that. I'm always shocked how few people actually know that. And being on Cars and Bids, that is definitely weirdo heaven, right? Like if you're a car weirdo, you hang out on Cars and Bids, right? I think the folks on Cars and Bids would have responded to that. And I think that, brother, I think you left at least $3,000 or $4,000 on the table, maybe even more. That's one of those situations where you got to educate your potential buyer and let them know the really obvious stuff that isn't really obvious. And I know that you had mentioned that there was some kind of failure on the button or something like that, and I'm sure you got it sorted out for the new owner. But as far as I'm concerned, the number I'm happy for Chris and that the car sold and everybody made a sale here, but dude, that was kind of a fail. You lost a lot of money I don't know what it would have cost to fix that button so that thing would have worked for the photo shoot, but it cost a lot. It cost a lot more than whatever it would have cost to fix that button to miss out on that photo at the end. So sorry, brother. I love you. I'm not trying to be hard on you, but take it from a non-cab. See, this is why cabriophobes have a problem. Everybody's like, oh, I don't like cabrios. Oh, the Targas are better. It's because you got to listen to a convertible person. These cabrio people know more about roofs and tops and stuff like that and what people respond to. You coupe guys you're too cooped up. You don't get it. Give me a holler next time. I'll help you out. You'll make more money. You give me some of it. All right. Let us know what you think of the results of that beautiful Targa top that our friend Chris sold. Was that a good amount of money that he got? Or do you agree with me that he would have gotten a hell of a lot more if people would have realized that hatch opens up in the back? Let us know in the comments below. And we are coming right back with new predictions. We'll really see if you guys are better at this than we are. We'll be right back. Stick around. Hey guys, I gotta tell you about our friends Godden Porsche of Las Vegas and Godden Classic. If you're looking for a new Porsche or a classic, you gotta call our friend Steve at Godden. This guy. Save yourself the hassle of screwing around with all the auctions like we always talk about and just talk to Steve. He'll find you the classic Porsche you're looking for. Godden Porsche of Las Vegas. Hey guys, you're probably looking at your watch and wondering if Bid Nerds will ever end. So you better talk to our friends at Our Smiths to make sure your Rolex, Tag Heuer, AP, or any fine timepiece is in tip-top shape. Our Smiths, fine Swiss repair. All right, we are back. It is time for predictions, and I know that because I'm looking at my Our Smiths A Vieira watch, custom made by Anthony Vieira, and it says right there that it's time for predictions. That's what this watch is so special. That's why it's so special, and that's what it's good for. It lets us know. Deeb, you ready to make some predictions? Looks like you're tapping over there. What are you ordering? A pizza?
I was Anthony answering Anthony Vieira because he thought you were being harsh on Carbine, and I was just saying, and I'll say it for the audience, what I think you were stressing is that Chris should have gotten that part fixed, photographed the top, and then gone to market, and not that like that whole thing. So anyways, that's all I was trying to do, was defend my partner with regards to the context of the advice given. So there it is. But listen, the car is sold and everybody's happy. But I think the point is well taken. If you have a unique feature, don't miss out on the opportunity to highlight, because it is what might set your auctions apart. JP will be the first one to tell you he can't stand special editions with unique orange graphics. They're so dumb, and people pay. He knows that people will pay a premium for them. So when you have a rare car with a rare feature like a hatchback that a lot of Porsche files don't even know exists, it behooves you to make sure that that's functional and that you photograph it and that you put that on display, because you never know who might be sitting there going, what the hell? I had no idea there was a 911 with a glass hatchback that would allow me to go to the gym and pull out my gym bag in front of the ladies, or my golf clubs, or whatever it is. I could put Shotzi back there, my wife's little, throw pillow dog, or whatever the case may be. You never know when you might just get somebody who didn't know, and all of a sudden they have to click with their heart and not their brain. And so, JP, I think that was a really well-made point. There you go. That's it. My piece.
Chris says it broke after the car went live, and I get that, but get it fixed is just get it fixed, make it happen. That is one of the downsides, though, of the Targa, of that particular model, is that they're very complex and they break all the goddamn time. The glass that goes back breaks, the buttons break. They're kind of delicate because they didn't really make very many of them.
It also proves your point, because the photographer didn't know that the feature was there because he didn't photograph it. So again, that's exactly what we're talking about.
I mean, our good friend Chef William, I had lunch with him over at Red Rock today. We're planning for this year's Vegas Auto Fest.
Are we still doing that?
We are still doing that. He sold his convertible Carmen Ghia a couple of years ago. To this day, he has the highest, the Carmen Ghia convertible that's brought the most money than any Ghia ever on BAT. But he hired the photographer from BAT on my advice, even though I'm a photographer, and I'm like, look, you can pay me and I'll do a really good job, or just hire the BAT kid. They'll come out and you'll be on much more quickly. It takes longer if you have someone else do the photos. So he chose to get the BAT guy to come out. The BAT guy comes out, takes a bunch of photos. But Chef is like, oh, okay, well, thanks for coming out. Do you want a water? You want a beverage? And the guy's like, sure, man, yeah. So he lets him in the garage. And Chef has a refrigerator in his garage like any chef would, right? And the guy takes a water, and Chef's like, go ahead, you can have another one if you want. He's like, really? And he's like, yeah, go ahead. And the guy takes an armful of them and puts them in his bag and leaves. He had to take the bus. He had to catch a bus, this photographer. I'm like, okay, that's a really good photographer. But here's the best part. We're not even there, right? He pays the $300 or whatever.
I remember this.
But the audience does it, right? He gets the photos back, and Chef sends me the listing. He's like, what do you think of the listing? I'm like, where are the pictures with the top down? He's like, oh, he didn't take any. I'm like, what? Yeah. It's a convertible. There's no fun. So I had to go back and take all the photos anyway. It was so stupid. Take the top down if the top goes down. Open the hatch if the hatch opens. Take the target. There's so many different that show people what you got. All right, we've talked enough about that. Let's get to some predictions. We've got some great cars. You guys in the audience, here's another thing that we always ask you guys to do. We're going to bring up some listings. We're going to analyze those listings. If you're watching the show, go on to those listings with us. Go on to Bring a Trailer and P-Car Market, and in the listing, say that you heard about the car on Bid Nerds. Let everybody know about Bid Nerds. Spread the word, grow the herd. That's what we say. What's the first car on the list? Michael Deeb. We talked a lot.
All right, JP. We have a premium listing on Bring a Trailer for a Lamborghini Diablo SV. This is the 1998 Lamborghini Diablo SV. JP, a 5.7 liter V12 with a 5-speed manual transmission. How effing cool is that car right there? Listed out of Glen Cove, New York. That is Ryan Friedman Motor Cars. This is a really cool Lamborghini, but if you guys are not familiar with Ryan Friedman and you love Porsches even half as much as John and I do, go to their website and look at their inventory. They get the coolest air-cooled cars, 964s and 993s and turbos and GT3s. Their selection of used old Porsches is unbelievable. But what we're talking about here is this really, really special Lamborghini. I do not know how many they made of this, but the SV was the highest specification. This was sort of like the GT3 version of the Diablo. So you've got that big air scoop and a fixed wing and, you know, firmer suspension and higher spec tires and modular wheels and better brakes, and a higher output to the engine. JP, what we're talking about here is, oh my God, they didn't list the figures, but anyway, I'm thinking this car was like, you know, close to 600 horsepower or something crazy like that, and probably revs to like 8,000 RPM. John, there are very few cars in the world that are mid-engine V12 manuals and rear-wheel drive, and this is one of them. As such, these cars are highly collectible and people pay big money for them. The interesting thing about this car, JP, is the fact that it actually does have some miles on it, although I think all of the SVs are gray market cars, thus all of their odometers are in kilometers. This one has 45,000 kilometers, which is 28,000 miles. A lot of these super collectible supercars don't get driven that much. So that tells me that this car is probably well worn and well broken in and probably drives really effing nice. So on a New York service records from New York on a clean Texas title, here it is, JP, a premium listing. It's been up for, you know, almost 2 weeks and looks really good in silver with the wheels. It's so 90s era, flip up headlights. That rake that goes from the top of the windshield all the way down to the front is just like a straight line. I mean, this thing looks like a UFO. I've always had kind of a soft spot for them. I've never wanted to own one because I know how unreliable and costly it would be. But JP, you cannot tell me as a car guy, you don't look at that and go, just let me take it around the block. Just let me go around Red Rock one time. Yeah. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. You know, I would absolutely love to be throwing the keys for this and turn loose for an hour and then be able to give it back and not have to worry about replacing the clutch or insuring it or buying all the oil to fill that sump. You know what I'm saying? So JP, take it away. Anytime, have you ever ridden in this? Like, have you ever been in one of these Diablos? I did get a ride in a standard car once with a lunatic mechanic who took me like 130 miles an hour on the freeway in San Francisco one time while I was dropping off my Fiat. He goes, hey, I got to take this car. Like, come with me. So I jumped in with him and had the ride of my life for like 5 minutes. But have you ever been in one of these? Have you ever driven one?
Nope, never been in any version of them, not an SV or any Diablo. Yeah, I've been in, the SVJ Aventadors and stuff like that, but that's just a whole different animal. This listing, this is such a great, iconic car. Everyone's talking about it in the nerd herd. You guys are all correct. It was Rich Bidet's saying, what's with the vertical picks, and that's really where I'm at. This listing is just rubbish. It's crap. You know the word I want to use. This is a ish listing for a car that deserves assets that equal the gravity and the gravitas of this particular car. This car deserves a photographer that knows what they're doing and can really show the romance of what you're getting yourself into with something like this. And you have to get people into the romance, because if you bid on this car with your brain, you're like, oh, hell no, it's going to break. Like you said, I don't even think you make it around the Red Rock Loop with one of these. These are just so terrifying to own. But this is unacceptable. And this is one of these situations where it used to be that it felt like BAT had standards, and those just seem to be out the window. They just, if the car is something interesting to them, it doesn't even have to be interesting. If it just meets a bare minimum of criteria and they have a handful of photos, they'll say, fine, yeah, we want to list it. This car is going to bring hundreds of thousands of dollars, but why in the hell is it listed? Right? Who is selling this car? You said it's a
Ryan Friedman. Ryan Friedman out of New York.
That's a big dealership. How are they screwing this up this bad? I do not understand that. It'd be one thing if this was a private owner. We see that all the time. Some guy owns a car and he's never done the auction thing before. He throws up a listing with a bunch of cell phone photos. People are mean to him in the comments, and then he runs away. We saw that last week on a car, or maybe it was the week before. But this is just this. There's no excuse for this. The Friedman people, what the hell? You guys know better. How is this being let go? I'm just, this car is going to fail because of this. I mean, they're leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table. What's it going to bring, Deeb?
So JP, I'm going to say something I can't believe, because again, I've always admired Ryan Friedman and how they do this stuff, but they've done something else here that is kind of a tragic mistake. And it's not uncommon in the sort of brick and mortar dealer world. And I'll just use this car as the example. So Ryan Friedman got this car. Now, whether they own it or it's on consignment is irrelevant, but they acquired the car, let's say, several months ago. And the first thing they did was list it as a classified ad in their inventory. Thus, when I go to look on how to, come up with comps on how to price the car, I go to classic.com. Well, classic.com has the listing as a classified with a last asking price of $379,995 as of February 21st, 2025. 2 listings later, we see that exact same car is for sale and bring a trailer. Now, if anybody is educated with their $350,000 to go to market and buy a Diablo, and they're going to do a homework and see what they're selling for, they're going to see that this guy was just asking $379,000. Nobody's going to bid over that number. Like, this doesn't make any sense. So I don't know why, the order of operations doesn't make sense to me that they would put a ceiling on what they could get for the car, because if it doesn't sell and they go to market, people already know what they were asking for. So do you understand what I'm saying, JP? I don't think I'm doing a good job describing this. Anyways, our car is sitting here right now. It's got 3 days to go before the hammer falls. It is currently listed at $250,000. JP, that comes by way of just 7 bids. Classic.com tells us that the average selling price for a Diablo SV from this generation is $315,400. This one is particularly nice, but I don't think it's $400,000 nice. I'm not even sure if it's $350,000 nice. I see you, Randy B, with the first bid on this car at $350,000. John, my number is going to come in under Randy's. I'm going to go $330,000 to you. Again, $315 is the average. They were asking $380 for this car, but again, this one's got some miles. It's got 28,000 miles. There are other cars out there with 16,000 miles and 7,000 miles. If you're going to get the one with the big miles, you should be able to save some money on the process. So 380 seems out of the question to me. I'm going 330. Where are you going?
All right. You brought up this whole thing about the listing being listed before it went on auction. One of the things when you list a car on Bring a Trailer, they make you fill out a bunch of fields. If you've never done this before, it's you don't write the ad, right? You fill out these fields. It's kind of like signing up for a social media platform of some sort, right? And one of the things that they ask you, they ask you the miles and the color and the maintenance and any mods and all that kind of stuff. But one of the first things they ask you is, has this car been listed anywhere else? That is a very important question because they use that to determine what reserve they'll let you have. Because they know if you listed it somewhere, if you listed a car for $50,000 on a forum or on Facebook Marketplace, they're going to go looking for it. And if you want a reserve for $60,000, they're going to be like, you've got ads for the car for $50,000. Get out of here. What's wrong with you, right? It's just stupid, right? And honestly, they don't want to even list cars that have been run before because it's less likely to sell on their platform. It's not new and fresh. People go to BAT because they want to find things that they haven't seen in other places. It's insanely annoying to me when a bunch of sellers, this guy over here, I hate it when you go to all the forums and you see cars, you see a listing for a car and they're like, it's available on BAT. Like some jerk lists something on BAT and then he goes to Renlist and Pelican and PCA and Facebook and Craigslist and just every place, and he just spams the whole world. Cars on BAT. It's like, yeah, I know. I'm on BAT. That's where everyone else already is. We knew that ahead. We knew that before you did this. God, I hate that. It's such a huge pet peeve, right? If you want to go on a forum or something and say, hey, this car is going to be available on BAT, that's maybe a little different story. If you tease the market that this is coming, tease the enthusiast, but doing it after the fact, so goddamn cheesy. But anyways, yeah, this car is FTS. I think all this stuff, I don't even think it's breaking 300. I'm going to go 299, 999. I think
wow.
it's just the pictures are horrible. Everything about this listing is trash, except the car. The car is wonderful, and that's the only thing that's its only saving grace. But Friedman, you guys got to do better. Just do better, man. What the hell? Do better. This whole thing just seems like amateur hour, and that's just really surprising for a dealership with their reputation. All right, let's move on to the next car. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below.
All right, JP, we have a new car to look at. Our friend Sebastian from San Francisco replaced his M491 turbo look with this 1994 Porsche 911 Speedster showing 16,000 miles from new. The car was owned by one family before transacting last year. The car went to a dealership on the Central Coast, British Sports Cars. What's up, Justin? And then our friend Sebastian bought the car, and he has spent most of the fall and the winter really kind of going through the car and cleaning it up, Bilstein PSS 10s and new tires. He re-powder coated the wheels a better shade of white. The wheels were white when he bought it, but they didn't match the car. Now they really look like they match the car. Services and valve jobs and all the different things. He really went through the car. What do they call tip to toe, and just went through it. So he's invested a couple of dollars to, in a lot of ways, rehabilitate the car and bring it back and make it super, super nice. And now he's decided to let everybody fight over it and bring it to market on Bring a Trailer. So JP, this is one of 936 produced between 1992 and 1994. Apparently, just 427 of them were built for the U.S. market. So out of a 3-year span, JP, only 400 came to the United States. I don't think I realized the car was that rare on our shores. Grand Prix white, black leather seats, painted cup wheels. This is one of John's favorite cars. It's lightweight, and you really do feel the difference. The car is so light, the motor feels like it's got 50 extra horsepower. That's how cool these things are to drive. And of course, the G50 makes these things a blast. So Sebastian is selling this car because he's going to build a 964, something very special that he's super into and excited about. The money from this car is basically going to fund that project. And hopefully in a year from now, we'll see Sebastian out on the rallies and all that sort of thing and up at the Cars and Coffees with his new car. But in the meantime, JP, Sebastian landed a premium listing with this car. We did just see a white black 94 Speedster sell for only $150,000 recently. But that car had like chrome plated wheels and like 48,000 miles. That car was not in the same condition that this car is in. Thank you, John. You pulled that up perfectly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That car is it's very well worn, very broken in, and represented a very good value to somebody who just wanted to be able to drive a Speedster. But if you want one of the nice ones, 16,000 miles from new, 2-owner car with the second owner only happening in the last year. This car's been a 1-owner car almost its entire life. And everything's been done. This is turnkey and ready to enjoy. So JP, I know you love the 964 Speedster almost as much as you love the 89 Speedster. What do you like about this listing? And then we'll get into the numbers.
Well, I'm going to say it, Sebastian, if you're watching, you don't deserve this car. You are a cabriophobe, and you know it. I've seen him shit all over convertibles, and then he bought this car. It's like, bro, I see you, okay? I see you. You're a hypocrite, and you're a cabriophobe. Sebastian's a good cat. We love him. This car is beautiful, and I think it's going to do really well. This will be an interesting... This is one of those interesting tests, right? We know, you and I kind of know this car. We were around when he got it. We actually kind of covered this car. This was the car that wound up, the seller was going to sell it on P-Car Market. He did not approve the listing. Here we are talking about P-Car Market again, right? And, and Sebastian...
Let's make it about them.
Yeah. Sebastian went and, he was talking to the owner before the car went live, and he bought the car. And then P-Car Market went and listed it without approval from the owner. And the car was up listed for days on P-Car Market. It's like, wait a minute, that car's sold, you idiot. It's like, P-Car Market, they're such morons, man. They're just like such a clown show over there. Anyways, The interesting test here is the thing that you and I disagree with about all the time, Michael Deeb. It's how much money do you put into a car if you're going to sell it, right? He went in and spent the money on matching the color of the wheels. He went in and he restored the seats. I saw the seats that were in it before. They were fine, right? But they were a little worn. Barely. Yeah. But he went and got brand new seats or something like that, right? He went out and I would like to see, and I'm not expecting him to divulge all this, right? That's not what I'm getting at. But it would be an interesting experiment to see, okay, he spent all this money on bringing it up into tip-top shape. Will he see a return on that investment? Will he just recap that money, or will it ultimately bring him even more money than it would have? Like, will the profit margin, if he bought this car, let's say he bought this car for 150 grand, which is not the number, right? We're not divulging what he bought this car for. Let's say he bought it for 150,000 bucks and he spends $25,000 on the car and he gets $225,000. That's a $50,000 profit, right? There's some real basic math. Well, if he didn't spend the $25,000, could he have gotten $210,000 for this car just because it's a low mileage speedster? That's my big question. That means he would only make 40 grand. So without any effort and without doing anything, could he have gotten the same money or more, or maybe even just a little bit less, but not having to put any money out and put out the time for doing it? I just feel like unless there's a really glaring thing that you can do from a repair or an update point of view, unless it's like, you know, if the wheels were the wrong wheels, like that other one that we were talking about, like here's the other car. This is the car that only brought $150,000. Those are the wrong wheels. Those are chrome aftermarket, some horrible wheels, right? If this person would have gone out and bought some, even if they were replica cup ones and put them on this speedster, it would have probably brought him another another $5,000 to $10,000. This car probably would have brought 160 grand if it didn't have those hideous wheels. So really easy, obvious, low-hanging fruit, sure. Spending thousands of dollars to upgrade seats that are pretty much fine anyway, I just feel like, but that's the experiment, and that's what it's going to be interesting to see how he comes out at the end of the day. What do you think this speedster will bring?
Yeah. What I can say to everybody who's watching and maybe interested in the car is that Sebastian is one of those like very type A. He wants his cars to look as clean and as perfect as possible. He does a lot of the work himself, and he's a perfectionist. He will keep tinkering and tinkering and tinkering with something until he gets it just right. So your question is a really good one. It's a point of contention. You and I go back and forth. We're like, leave the coils over, and I'm like, no, put it back to stock. It'll bring more money.
Hold on. I want to interrupt you here. Right? It's like, okay, that's his passion. He likes working on the cars. That's fine, right? Or he's the guy that's like meticulous and his cars have to be perfect. Well, this isn't his car. It's not his car. He bought it, but it's not his car. He never intended to own this car. He's a cabriophobe. He doesn't even like it. He bought it as an investment. He bought it to flip it, right? Let's be honest. He didn't. This was never his car. This is inventory. So why are you gonna, this? So that's, if it's your car, that's a whole different story. If you're like, okay, this is my speedster, I bought it, I'm going to keep it for years and years and years and love it, and this is going to be my car, and you're that meticulous, stick up your ass guy, okay, be the stick up your ass guy if it's your car. But if you're just going to sell it, then you're just being stupid and wasting money unless you really enjoy spending money on stuff. Okay, so continue. What do you think it's going to bring?
All right, JP. So our car, let's see, let's start with classic.com. According to classic.com, the average selling price for a 964 Speedster in the secondary market is $199,300, which is a big number. Sebastian's car is currently sitting at $125,000, and it closes tomorrow. That $125,000 comes to us by way of just 6 bids, but it got off to a really good start. It's got very good photos. He's got the window sticker. And JP, there's a photo of the engine and transmission from underneath the car, and all of the factory cosmoline is still intact. This car obviously was only driven by an older couple who only used it occasionally, and it still shows and has very low miles. as such, I think the car is going to do really, really well. JP, I think the car is going to break $200,000, and that's my bid. The question is, do you think it's going to go over or under 200 grand?
Well, the nerd herd seems to think it's going to break 200.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised. I don't think these are as strong. It's crazy to me. The 964 is arguably the best of all the air-cooled 911s. You might not necessarily agree with that, but right now, from a market point of view, 964s are so hot right now.
King.
Right? Everybody wants a 964. This is one of the few cars, the Speedster G-bodies bring way more money than 964 Speedsters for some reason. And I don't quite get that. I think I'm sure a lot of it has to do with the fact that all the G-body Speedsters are wide body in America. There are like literally 2 or 3 narrow body ones in the world, but most of them were ordered with the wide body with a 491, and that was not available. The 491, the wide body, was not available in the Speedster of the 964. So maybe that's why 964 Speedsters don't do as well. But you know, if this were a 16,000 mile G body, you'd be looking at $300,000 if it were in this condition. Yeah. But here we are talking about a car that, how much is it going to break over $200,000? That's the big question. What was your number? 210?
I was at 200 even. So where are you at?
I'll go 210. I'll go 10,000 over. I think the meticulous attention to details on this car is going to bump it up a little bit. I don't think it would have made really that big a difference, though. I mean, maybe matching the color of the wheels or something like that. I think this car still would have brought 210. A 16,000 mile 964 Speedster is going to be $200,000 to $220,000. So it'll be interesting, and it'll be interesting to get Sebastian's feedback on this. I do need to go and talk about Anthony here. He says, seriously, JP, didn't you just dog Chris for not getting his listing right? Now you're saying this guy did too much? Pick an effing lane, he says. And I say to my good friend, Anthony Vieira, listen, bro, I said low-hanging fruit, okay? Fixing the button and showing a picture of a hatchback is much different than spending thousands of dollars on fixing something that no one will even notice. Okay, there it is. Love you, Anthony.
Let's get Anthony Vieira a little sheriff's badge, since he's the bid nerd police all of a sudden. I love it. He is the shepherd. He's biting all the sheep's heels. Let's go. Nicely done,
okay, now I gotta bring this up, and Sahan's right. I totally forgot about this. We just had this conversation about the previous car, about this car being listed before. Sebastian has had this car listed retail for $200,000 for months. And it didn't sell in the open market. And that's why, guys, this is another thing. Watch Bid Nerds. You'll learn. Don't try to sell a car in the open market first. If you're going to do the open market, you go to BAT, you go to the auctions first. If it fails there, then you go to the open market. Not the other way around. And now I wish I could pull if I had read Sahan's comment, I wish I had been reminded of that. I would have said, okay, this thing's 190, but here it is.
The other thing I was going to tell you is that right now there's like 7 white 964 Speedsters in the classifieds. Sebastian's is one of them, because it's a listing that he's never called and told the company to take down, which is a kind of a miss. But the fact that there's so many in the market, and ordinarily this would be a rare car, but at the moment, which is weird, over the middle of the winter in the United States in 2025, there's a handful of white 964 Speedsters, a few of which have equally low miles, which is crazy to think that you would ever see 2 of these at the same time, but there it is. And that's the reason why I didn't think his car would push 210 or 220. And if he were selling this car 6 months in any direction, 6 months earlier or 6 months from now, I think that the premium would be 10% on whatever this car hammers for. But it's going to be tough sledding to slog out those last $75,000 and get to the number we know he's hoping for. So there it is, JP. The car closes tomorrow, so it'll be a fun one to watch.
We're just beating dead horses tonight. Art asks, why can't you just be meticulous and care about a thing whether you intend to keep it or drive it or not? It's called, I'll answer that in one word. One word, Art, and I love you too. But the word is business. If you're buying it to flip it, it's business.
I can't tell
You're
what's
like-
funnier, what you're saying, or the fact that you're calling Yuri Art. Art Engine is Yuri's handle.
Oh, that's Yuri. Yuri, what the hell, bro?
That's Yuri.
I didn't realize that. Yuri, business, my man.
Oh shit!
mean,
This show's off the rails.
I love it.
Oh my god!
Well, see, I knew I loved the guy, and I didn't even know who he was. All right,
we're
let's
getting
move on.
crushed tonight. Yeah, let's go. Let's finish this beating. All right, JP. I picked a car that just like when I was a kid, I thought that the 1965
We got to do it quick
white,
because we need to get this car.
The Shelby Mustang Cobra was the coolest car, and Dodge did a commemorative version of the 1998 Dodge Viper GTS R, which was the GT2 Championship Edition car. So again, JP, this was sort of like the GT3 version of the car. You got lighter wheels, better tires, better brake pads. I don't know if this car made more horsepower, but you got this big fixed wing and a cool livery with the blue stripes, and then the cars were numbered. And these cars, JP, have always held their value. They bring big money with the collectors today. So our 1998 Dodge Viper GTS GT2 Championship Edition is it's number 12 of 100 that they ever made. The car is listed out of Queen Creek, Arizona, and it is on Bring a Trailer. The car showing just 11,000 miles, which is a few because a lot of these cars have wound up in the hands of collectors and have just never been driven and enjoyed. This one, JP at 11,000 miles, is one of the higher mileage ones if you can swallow that little pill. But just a cool looker. I just love the car. It looks like
How much is it going to bring? How much is it going to bring?
Makes me happy to see it. All right, JP, my bid on the Viper GTS R is $198,000. Where you at?
What is classic? What does classic.com say?
145 for the special edition.
Yeah, then I am going 145 because I just don't see any chance of this thing getting over that. I mean, these are great.
Right.
These are cool, and I know people like them, but Vipers are super soft right now. And I know people go nuts over the GTRs. Don't get me wrong. I like Vipers, but yeah. Now, all right, let's wrap this thing up. Yuri, bro, I've been thinking about you all day because I've been driving around a Ferrari Dino GT4, just like yours. We are getting ready to sell it on BAT. I'm sitting there going, okay, let's Deeb, why don't we just spend $20,000 on fixing it up?
Let's go.
It's attention to details. There's a scratch on it. Let's go repaint it. Love you guys. All right. All right.
I'll be in Vegas next.
Yeah.
I'll be in Vegas next week. So I'll do Sunday night show from here. And then the next morning, I'm going to fly out and be in Vegas, which means next Wednesday, I'll be in studio with my buddy. And hopefully some of the Vegas crew will come down and join us. I'm talking to you, Buddha. It'd be great to see you. And everybody else who is in town and has a few minutes, let's go grab a drink.
Who's going to Air and Water? Let us know in the comments. We got to start making plans for that. So that should be pretty awesome. We'll have to do some cool stuff down there for that. And then after Air and Water, the Rami Studio is getting a remodel while we're at Air and Water. So I'm really excited to debut all of that. It's going to be pretty badass. Let me just tell you, it's going to be pretty badass when that's all done.
All right.
So some of you are going to have to come and visit us in Las Vegas and be on the show. All right, guys. We will see you Sunday night. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you Sunday. Bye. Hey guys, you're probably looking at your watch and wondering if Bid Nerds will ever end. So you better talk to our friends at Our Smiths to make sure your Rolex,